Way on air, online, and on the go. From WLWT, this is Issues.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm India Jones, filling in for Jan Lemon Michelle Kearney, who will be back next week. This morning, we will be discussing two wonderful organizations. One's IT in Greater Cincinnati and the other Council on Aging. Right now, I have with me Janine Darks Wright, who is the owner of Embellishments, and we're going to discuss the hair replacement therapy.
Laser
hair replacement therapy.
Okay. Yeah, laser therapy.
So tell me, what is laser hair replacement therapy?
Well, what it is laser therapy is a process that helps to restore and revitalize the hair follicle. To initiate an environment where you really can increase hair growth. So if you are someone that is suffering from hereditary hair loss, male or female, you can benefit from this service. The service includes a series of treatments in studio and various DHT inhibitors, which is a byproduct of testosterone that your body produces as you age, and these inhibitors prevent that byproduct from affecting the hair follicle, which creates hair loss. So the therapy is a really wonderful therapy. It's holistic in a sense that you can use natural topicals to apply to the hair to incentivize hair growth along with the laser therapy. When you do these in conjunction, you get the maximum benefits of hair growth.
So how does this procedure work? I know we're all curious.
Well, how it
works.
What's
the process?
Well, what the process is that the laser itself is FDA cleared to grow hair. And what you do, it's a cold laser. So there's no heat involved. There's no pain involved, which is, you're like, is there pain? Is it going to affect this? You actually just you'll sit under the laser as if you would sit under a hair dryer. So I'm sure various women out there have sat under a dryer before or have even experienced a hair dryer, but it's just like sitting under a hair dryer, but it doesn't produce any heat at all. It works on a cellular level. So the benefits that you receive are underneath the scalp. So there's nothing being felt on top of the scalp or anything. So it works on a cellular level.
So I know there's an old wives' tale that even with hair laser therapy removal, that African Americans, shouldn't get or leave dark spots. Is there a connection to this?
No.
Any relevance?
No, that's completely different.
Okay.
When you're dealing with the cold laser therapy, like I said, it works underneath the dermis. So it works on the cells, revitalizing the cells underneath the dermis of the scalp on the follicle. So it revitalizes those cells, rejuvenates it. What that laser does is it creates circulation, and it stimulates those cells, and it revitalizes those cells to encourage that hair to actually grow. And it helps to create a prime environment for hair growth.
So who would be the best candidate for something like this?
Well, the best candidates for a service like this would be anybody who, like I said, in your family, you have hereditary hair loss. You're looking at grandma, you're looking at, your grandpa or somebody like that. You see that they don't have hair, that they've lost hair over a period of time. It would be a great service for someone who is going through different type of hormonal shifts, such as menopause, and after childbirth, and you lose hair, and you're trying to get that hair to grow back. That therapy is great for someone going through that. They wouldn't go through the therapy as long, and their maintenance would be different, but they would benefit from that service as well. And also another group of people who would benefit from this service is someone who has received hair plugs. A lot of times you get a lot of people who want to do permanent hair restoration.
And what are hair plugs?
Hair plugs or hair implants is a service that a person would receive from a hair transplant surgeon or a plastic surgeon. And it is permanent. They take hair follicles from different areas of the scalp where there is healthier, thicker hairs and transplant it to where they don't have any follicles, where the follicle is dormant. And they transplant it there. But what happens is that the body still produces the byproduct of testosterone, the DHT, and to maintain that, you need to continue to do some type of, or take some type of DHT inhibitor to keep that hair in. So the laser light therapy is a wonderful service to combine with that particular service, especially since it's such a major investment. People invest a lot of money in that service, and to be able to maintain that, that is something that's a wonderful combination to maintain that service.
So just curious, feel my hair. Tell me, what do you think? Just for me, what would you suggest for me?
Well, like I said, my business, we offer extensions, but different type. We take into consideration the hair texture, the hair density. So we have all different types of methods that are safe and that don't take the hair out. So for a person like you, I have a program that we call cyber links and micro links. And so those are very tiny, very minute. You would definitely be a candidate for something like that because your hair is very fine. It can be kind of slippery, so you wouldn't want to do the traditional extensions. So a service like that would be great. It's a product that we carry that's called a cyber hair. It weighs 3 times, it's a third less in weight. It weighs 3 times less than human hair.
Okay.
So when you have that service, it's practically weightless.
Okay.
So it's weightless.
So give us a phone number to call if someone wants to get into the hair therapy replacement. Is there a number to call?
Absolutely. 513-386-7255.
We want to go ahead and thank Janine Darks, who is the owner of Embellishments in Springdale. But go ahead and give us that number one more time for people who aren't aware.
513-386-7255.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Stay
you.
with us. We'll be right back with more on Counsel and Aging in IT in Greater Cincinnati. Good morning and welcome back. Joining us today is Nancy Petrie, who is the the Communications Director of Counsel and Aging, as well Nancy Schuster, who is the Executive Director for IT in Greater Cincinnati. Thank you both for joining us. So I'm just curious, with IT in Greater Cincinnati, what type of organization is this?
We're a transportation provider for senior citizens and visually impaired adults here in the Greater Cincinnati area. So we provide rides to seniors and visually impaired adults 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for any ride purpose. So we take people to the grocery store, we take people to medical appointments, dialysis treatments, but we also take people for the fun and inspirational things. We've got a lot of people that we take to the symphony, ball games, whatever. Our service has no limits on ride purpose. Our only restriction really is an age restriction for the people who ride with us, and they need to be 60 or over, or a visually impaired adult.
Okay, so I was just about to ask you that. Was there an age limit on that? But also, for the people who ride with you, it's a membership-based only program, correct?
Correct. The people that ride with us become members. So they pay an annual membership fee, which gives them access to the service, and then they do pay a fee per ride. But every ride that we give is provided in a private automobile, and about 70 to 75% of the rides provided are done by trained, insured, and bonded volunteer drivers who drive their own cars. Every ride is in a private automobile. The people that ride with us sit in the front seat, and it really replicates the feel of riding with a friend or family member, but the person that's riding didn't have to ask for a favor.
Does a person have to go through any steps to take before, do they have to qualify in a certain way to become a member of your program?
They've just got to be 60.
Just have to be 60 or older. You heard it here, everyone. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go to sorry, not Nancy. Lori. As well, give us some background on Council on Aging.
Council on Aging is a large nonprofit organization, and our mission is to help older adults and people with disabilities remain safe and independent in their own homes. That's where most people want to be as they age, even if they have a need for help in order to stay in that home. Perhaps they can no longer cook for themselves, they can't clean their house, they can't do laundry because they're ill or they have a mobility problem, and so we want to be able to help them stay there and not have to go to a nursing home when it's not necessary. A nursing home is for very, very sick people, and many people can maintain quite well in their own home with help.
So I was told that living in as well, Nancy, give us some more information on what these pictures are.
This picture right here is just two ladies. The one standing there who is kind of laughing at the outside of the car is a volunteer driver, and she's providing a ride to one of our member riders. Every one of our riders is offered door-through-door, arm-through-arm service. Okay. So as you see in the picture, the driver will come around, open the door, and provide any assistance that the rider may need.
So, okay, let's go ahead. I think we have a couple of more other pictures we want to get to. What's that one?
This one is a family. The woman in the center is our oldest client. She's 108 years old, almost 109 years old, and she lives in a home with her son, who's in his 80s, and her daughter-in-law. And so, she would...
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's very frail, but she is still going fairly strong at 108, and she's able to stay in a home with, a residence with her son and daughter-in-law, and so they all live together. And the son and daughter-in-law are not exactly really young themselves. So, with the help of Council on Aging, Meals on Wheels, help with housekeeping, with personal care to help bathe these older people who are taking care of their old mom, very old mom, are able to do it. They can do it.
I think we have a couple more pictures. Let's get to that next one. What's that one?
Oh, this again is another member of ITN Greater Cincinnati, and a volunteer driver. And that driver, I think, is interesting to note. That driver is, at the time the picture was taken, was in his 80s, and he's a very spry 80-year-old man. He has gone to Switzerland and rode his bike around Lake Geneva. So pretty active gentleman, giving this lady here a ride to a senior center where she would go to play cards.
And then we have the last one.
This is Anthony, and Anthony, as you can see, is in a wheelchair. I love this story because one of the things that Council on Aging does is help people get out of a nursing home who have been there for a long time. If you've been in a nursing home for a long time, you may have nothing. You have no home, you have no possessions, you don't have a bank account. So it's pretty hard to become independent, even if you could physically do so. In the case of Anthony, he turned 60 and became eligible for our services. We had a person in this nursing home who found out about him. He wanted to get out, and so with the help of Council on Aging and other organizations, we were able to set him up in his own apartment. Okay. And he lives independently now, and he's so happy And the thing, this is kind of a win-win for the taxpayers too, because it actually costs a lot less, even with services, to help Anthony stay in his own apartment than to have him stay in a nursing home.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and come right back in just a moment. Welcome back. Now I want to go ahead and give a little story just to kind of relate to Lori's situation. Well, not situation, we're working with Council on Aging. Right now my grandmother had a stroke, and so she cannot move her right side, because I'm actually applying for Council on Aging just to give me some insight on how I would continue with this process, because she cannot move and we don't want to send her to a nursing home.
Your story is so typical of what we have 30,000 calls a year, many people in your situation who have an older loved one that they're caring for. The circumstance changes kind of suddenly, perhaps,
yes,
as in the case of your grandmother who had a stroke, and suddenly you find yourself thrust into this world that you know, oh my goodness, nothing about, and long-term care, and it's expensive. Everything costs, and care in the home, and so you have come to the right place, to Council on Aging, and hopefully your grandmother will qualify for the services, because there are some eligibility qualifications.
Okay.
It sounds like she would qualify from a disability standpoint, but there's also some financial qualifications in some cases. But even if she doesn't qualify for our programs, we have a call center with people who are experts on helping people with older adults problems and people with disabilities, and they can connect you to resources like ITN Greater Cincinnati if you don't qualify for our services. So they know what's available in the community, and they know that families need help, and sometimes they're quite desperate, so they can refer you to help.
So you said basically if the people don't qualify for your program, you will also send them to Nancy for IT Greater Cincinnati. Is there any time where you feel that you need to refer some of your people out to Council on Aging maybe?
We do from time to time.
Okay.
You know, because we become very closely entwined in the lives of the people that ride with us. They ride with us frequently, and we get to know them quite well. And they share things when they're riding in the car. And if we learn that they've got a need or an issue, we will tell them about the services provided by Council on Aging. And it's amazing to me how many times people don't know what exists in the community.
Right, because honestly, before today, I have never heard of IT in Greater Cincinnati, as well as Council on Aging. So look at that, we learn something new every day.
Yeah, you know, we're both nonprofits. We
Okay.
don't have a whole lot of money to advertise, but I think, and I know Nancy would probably confirm this, people tend not to think about these kinds of things,
Right.
needing
Until
help
things happen.
until things happen.
And then
So,
it's too late, or you don't have the resources.
right. So you may have heard an ad, you know, or seen something in the paper 6 months ago. And so that's why it's really good for opportunities like this, so that when the crisis does come, people will remember.
Yeah, like myself.
Yeah,
Some needs help.
I'm so glad that you have called Council on Aging, because, as I said, we are a resource for anybody who needs help, because often they are not aware of what's in the community. People don't pay attention to that until
So
there's
do
a
you
need.
help with rehabilitation and therapy as well? Because after, some people transition from Drake and they'll need the additional rehabilitation and therapy, or do you outsource that as well?
That would be done by other organizations, and we would coordinate with them. So any medical, a lot of services now can be delivered in the home. More and more that's happening. All kinds of medical treatments, and as you said, physical therapy, occupational therapy can all be done in the home at far less cost and more convenience, obviously, for the person who's ill. So what we're doing is very basic long-term care kinds of services. Think of activities that you do every day: prepare a meal, drive, go to the grocery store, take a shower, even getting in and out of bed. That can be difficult, like your grandmother now cannot get in and out of bed or in and out of chair by herself. So without help with those very basic activities, and that help is usually provided by families, but they're not always able to do everything. And so without help, she would be in a nursing home, which would be very unfortunate if she doesn't need that level of care and if you're able to keep her at home.
Right. So with both of your employees, are they certified? How would they, if a person would like to apply for a position there, are the people certified? I know as a caretaker, so to speak, for my grandmother, how would I feel more comfortable with your employees?
Well, what we provide is care management. So our employees are either nurses or social workers. So they are licensed individuals who manage all the care, because one of the things that you find if you have an older or disabled person, they have a lot of people coming out. Maybe they have that physical therapist coming into the home, plus someone to prepare a meal or someone to, so they're arranging transportation, and so it gets rather complicated. The care manager decides what services the person is eligible for and make sure that all those services are being delivered at the right times and the right amounts, right price, and so on. But the actual providing of the services are done by home health agencies who have contracts with Council on Aging. So they will hire an aide to come in and clean the house, for example.
That's good.
Yeah.
As well, they'll have them to bathe them and other things like that.
If the person needs that, yes.
If they would like to get in contact with you, do you have a number for people to call, or maybe an email address so they can get a hold of you?
Yes. The phone would be 721-1025.
One more time.
Yep, 721-1025. Or the email address is help and then the number 4 seniors.org.
Okay, and I know there's a 1-800 number as well. What's that number?
Yes, that's 800-252-0155.
And Nancy, what number for you?
ITN Greater Cincinnati can be reached at 513-559-2200.
Again, one more time for me.
513-559-2200.
2200. We want to make sure everyone, if you have a loved one who is in need or even needs transportation, you can go to Lori with Council on Aging. You can go to Nancy with IT in Greater Cincinnati. So let's keep both of these women in mind for the future. Thank you both for coming. We appreciate it. And I just also want to let everyone know, again, we will share a link to both IT in Greater Cincinnati as well as Council on Aging on WLWT.com. So thank you, and we'll be right back with more on the calendar segment. Thanks for joining us. I want to go ahead and just give a little recap from earlier this morning. I want to thank Janine Darks Wright, who is the owner of Embellishments in Tri-County or Springdale with the hair laser therapy replacement. She will also help you talk to her. She's really good, and we want to check that number out. We'll also have that on WLWT.com, a link to get to that. As well, we want to thank Lori and Nancy, who is with IT in Greater Cincinnati, as well with the Council on Aging. Next, we're going to have the calendar segment. So we're going to start off with the Glorifying the Lions Award, and that's the 65th annual meeting. That's Friday, February 7th at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. $65 per person. For more information, call 513-559-5443. Also, we have Fun Party Silent Auction, and that raises funds for Walnut Hills High School, Saturday, February 22nd at 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is at the Masonic Center, 5th Street, and that's near Broadway. All are welcome. For more information, you can call 513-363-8400. Until next time, activate your dreams, and we will see you soon.